Hi, fourth grade friends. I'm missing seeing you guys, but I'm excited to be sending you some videos with some fun art projects that you can do over the next few weeks. First project we're going to be doing is origami. This is the Japanese art of paper making. I've been playing around. You can see all my papers on my table over here. It's really hard to do. It took me a bunch of tries, but I did eventually figure out how to make a really fun origami fish. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. First, I'm going to show you a little video just talking about the art of origami, and then I'm going to give you a demonstration, and you can work with me step by step, and you can stop the video whenever you need to so you guys can catch up if you're confused. All right, have fun.
Origami, the traditional art of paper folding, is a popular pastime in Japan. Using delicate folds and creases, and without any scissors or glue, a single square of paper can be fashioned into birds or animals, handy containers, or almost anything at all. For centuries, origami has been a favorite leisure activity for people throughout Japan. One man made it his mission in life to share origami with children around the world, forging friendships across the barriers of language and culture. Many people imbue their origami with hopes and prayers. On this edition of Begin Japanology, we introduce the simple yet profound world of origami, the art of creating objects from a single sheet of paper.
Hello and welcome to Begin Japanology. I'm Peter Barakan, and our theme for today is origami, one of the few Japanese words that's known all over the world. It simply means to fold paper. Paper folding games, of course, exist in many countries around the world, but perhaps origami is the most sophisticated. First of all, let's take a look in some detail at this traditional Japanese pastime.
In Japan, most people do origami when they're children. No special equipment or tools are required, just a square of paper to fold. You don't even need scissors or glue. Here, a child has made a small box. Containers like this are just right for holding marbles. An origami frog. It can even hop. This girl is folding some large sheets of newspaper. She's making a helmet, like those worn by the samurai warriors of old. These days, samurai helmets are only seen in historical TV dramas or on samurai dolls. But thanks to origami, these children can feel a connection with that long-gone era. All kinds of things can be fashioned with origami. Here's an iris and a lotus flower, a traditional paper balloon, and a frog. From wildlife to objects found around the house, with origami a child's imagination can run free.
So you guys just saw some really fun origami shapes that you can make with paper. I'm going to show you guys how to make a fish. The first thing you're going to do is get your supplies together. You need a pencil, a ruler, a scissor, and a piece of paper. Thin paper like copy paper is the perfect paper to use. Construction paper is going to be too thick. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take our paper and we are going to fold it in half. Now when you fold it in half, you want to try and line up those corners so you get it pretty even. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to line it up as good as you can. After you fold it in half, what we need to do is we need to turn the paper into a square. Now the reason I folded it in half was because we don't want a very big piece of paper. We want to use a small one. But now you can see this is a rectangle. We need to make it into a square. So this is where I'm going to use my ruler. First thing I'm going to do is use my ruler to measure the short side of the paper. And when we measure the short side of the paper, you need to make sure that you are using the inch side, and you want to make sure you look at where the 0 starts. It doesn't start right at the very end on my ruler. It starts a little down below. Yours is probably the same. So I want to line that up to the top of my paper. And I'm going to look down here and see my paper is 5.5 inches. So what I want to do now is make this side be 5.5 inches also. So I'm going to take my ruler. I'm going to look for where the 0 is. I'm going to put that to the edge. So I'm starting at 0. And I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I want to do a half. Then I'm going to lower this down and do the same exact thing. Make sure it lines up to the 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I make a little dash. Now I'm going to connect those lines. Look at that. I did something wrong. So let's go back up there and see what I did wrong. No, 5.5. And yep, I just did 5 inches there. So see, that's what happens. We all make mistakes, especially me. So now I'm going to take that ruler, and I can see now that looks right. And I'm going to connect so my line goes all the way from one end to the other. And we can look at that now and see that that is a square. So now I'm going to get my scissor, and I'm going to cut this down. I'm going to cut this side off. That's a nice little piece of paper to keep for a practice sketch or a doodle. I'm going to put that off to the side. Now I'm going to open this up, and I have 2 squares. I'm going to cut right along that line there, and I'm going to put 1 square to the side because I needed to practice this a whole bunch of times before I figured it out. I did not get this on my first try. You guys are going to see me making one, but this is after about 8 that I've made. My first couple didn't work so well. So be prepared that you guys are probably going to need to practice this a few times. So now I have my square. Next thing I'm going to do is turn my paper over this way. Now, if you need to pause at this point to make yourself a square, just pause the video and get your square set and then come back and press play when you're ready to go again. So I'm going to hold my paper like a diamond. I'm going to take this bottom corner and I'm going to bring it up to the top. Again, I want to line it up as close as I can because it's just going to work better if it's evened. And I did a pretty good job that time. Now I'm going to open that back up. You see I have a line on it. I'm going to turn it this way. And I'm going to once again line that corner up to the top and fold it over and open it up. I now have a T. Now I'm going to hold the paper like a square in front of me. And I'm going to fold it up to the top and connect both of those corners as close as I can. Take my fingers and press my fold. Okay, so now I have 1, 2, 3 lines. I'm going to turn it and I'm going to fold it one more time. Line up my corners and press down. I just went through that very quickly, so you might want to pause at this point, go back and take your time, and you want to make sure you're doing it right. So when we look at it now, we can see there's a line, a vertical line, a horizontal line, a diagonal line going that way, and a diagonal line going that way. Now I'm going to do the trickiest part. What I'm going to do is I need to connect a couple of strange spots. Now to make this a little bit easier for you to see, I'm going to make a little dot at that edge of the line in the middle there, and a little dot at the edge over there. So I'm going to connect this dot to this dot, and then I'm going to fold this corner back and fold this down. That was really tricky. So I'm going to open it up again so you can kind of see how that looked. This dot went there, and then that folded down there, which brought this down. You may want to stop and pause and rewind that a few times. I know I had to do that the first time I did it. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. I'm going to sort of tuck. I'm going to take this one, connect that. Here, I'm going to make a dot over there too. I'm going to connect that there and then fold that back over. Wait a minute. I'm going to fold that one back over like that. See, that took me a while. So we're connecting that dot to there and folding that over. And that dot was down there, and we folded that over. And you can see how that's going to become the body of our fish. All we have left to do is the tail. You may want to stop and rewind and do that one a couple of times. This is the way it looks from the front, if that helps, or from the back side. And then there's the top of it. Okay, so that's the head of my fish. Now I'm going to make the tail. Now for the tail, to help you out, I'm going to go over this line lightly. This is that middle line where there's a fold. Okay, you're not going to use that line, but you're going to go a little past it. So we're going to take the top of this, not both pieces, but just the top. I'm going to fold it over, but I'm going to go below, a little below that line. See where I made that line? I'm going to fold this top piece, but I'm going to go down a little bit, and then I'm going to flatten that out. Then I'm going to take the top part from here, not both pieces, but just the top one, and I'm going to bring that up as high as it will go, and then flatten that out there. Okay, so again, I folded that below that middle line, and then I folded that one up, but I left the two other pieces down. Now I flip my fish over here, and I have an origami fish. And then you guys get to do the really fun part of the decorating. I made this one earlier today, and I made another one that I took apart. I did this guy. I did like a scary guy and a fun guy. And now this one I can decorate. Now you guys can use colored pencils, markers, crayons, anything you want to decorate and color and have some fun with it. You can make smaller ones, you can make bigger ones, you can do a whole family of fish. Any kind of fish you would like to make. So you guys have some fun with those. You could take a picture of that and email it to me, or just save it on your device and you can show it to me when we come back to school. But I would love to see it if you get it done and you want to send it to me. All right, I will talk to you guys next week. Have a great week. Have fun creating, and remember, have fun making some beautiful oopses. Bye, guys.